Namaste. Luke chapter 10. And after this, Adoni appointed 70 others, and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him into every city and place where he himself was about to go. Then he said to them, The harvest indeed is great, but the workers are few. Therefore pray Adoni of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest. Go, see, I send you out as lambs into the middle of wolves. Do not take a purse, nor a bag, nor sandals, and greet no one along the way. In whatever house you enter, first say, Peace to this house. And if indeed a son of peace is there, your peace shall rest on it. And if not, it shall return to you. And stay in the same house, eating and drinking whatever with them, for the laborer is worthy of his wages. Do not move from house to house, and into whatever city you enter, and they receive you. Eat whatever is placed before you, and heal the sick there, and say to them, The reign of Yahuwah has come near to you. And into whatever city you enter, and they do not receive you, go out into its streets and say, Even the dust of your city which clings to us we wipe off against you. But know this, that the reign of Yahuwah has come near to you. And I say to you that it shall be more bearable for Sodom in that Yom than for that city. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles which were done in you had been done in Dor and Zidon, they would have repented long ago, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But it shall be more bearable for Dor and Zidon at the judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, who are exalted to the heaven, shall be brought down to the grave. He who hears you hear me. He who rejects you rejects me. And he who rejects me rejects him who sent me. And the 70 returned with joy, saying, Adoni, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I saw Satan falling out of the heaven as lightning. See, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you. But do not rejoice in this, that the Ruachs are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names have been written in the Shamayim. In that hour Yah-ooh-sha exalted in the Ruach and said, I praise you, Father Adoni of the heaven and of the Aretz, that you have hidden these matters from clever and learned ones, and did reveal them to babes. Ye, Father, because thus it was well-pleasing in your sight. All has been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son, and he to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. And returning to his students, he said separately, Blessed are the eyes that see what you see, for I say to you that many prophets and kings have wished to see what you see, and have not seen it, and to hear what you hear, and have not heard it. And see, a certain one learned in the Torah stood up, trying him, and saying, Teacher, what shall I do to inherit everlasting life? And he said to him, What has been written in the Torah? How do you read it? And he answering said, You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And he said to him, You have answered rightly, do this and you shall live. But he, wishing to declare himself obedient, said to Yah-ooh-sha, And who is my neighbor? And replying, Yah-ooh-sha said, A certain man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among robbers, who, both stripping and beating him, went away, leaving him half dead. And by a coincidence, a certain priest was going down that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Lud also, when he came to the place, and seeing, passed by on the other side. But a certain Shamaronite traveling came upon him. And when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and he went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. And having placed him on his own beast, he brought him to an inn, and looked after him. And going out on the next yom, he took out 2 pieces of silver, gave them to the innkeeper, and said to him, Look after him, and whatever more you spend I shall repay you when I return. Who, then, of these 3 do you think was neighbor to him who fell among the robbers? And he said, He who showed compassion on him. Then Yah-ooh-sha said to him, Go and do likewise. And it came to be as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain Asha named Malta received him into her house. And she had a sister called Miriam, who also sat at the feet of Yah-ooh-sha and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and coming up she said, Adoni, are you not concerned that my sister has left me to serve alone? Speak to her then to help me. And Yah-ooh-sha answering said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one only is necessary, and Miriam has chosen a good portion, which shall not be taken away from her. Chapter 11. And it came to be, while he was praying in a certain place, as he ceased, one of his Talmidim said to him, Adoni, teach us to pray, as Yahukanon also taught his Talmidim. And he said to them, When you pray, say, Our Father in the Shamayim, let your name be Kodesh. Let your rain come, let your desire be done on Aretz, as it is in heaven. Give us yom by yom our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, for we also forgive everyone who is indebted to us. And do not lead us into trial, but rescue us from the wicked one. And he said to them, Which of you shall have a friend and go to him at midnight and say to him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves, since a friend of mine has come to me on his journey, and I do not have food to set before him. Then the one inside answering says, Do not trouble me, the door is already locked, and my children with me are in bed. I am unable to get up and to give you. I say to you, if he does not get up and give to him because he is his friend, he shall get up and give him as many as he needs because of his persistence. And I say to you, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened to you. For everyone asking receives, and he who is seeking finds, and to him who is knocking it shall be opened. And what father among you whose son asks for bread shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish shall give him a snake instead of a fish? Or if he asks for an egg shall give him a scorpion? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father from heaven give the Ruach HaKodesh to those asking him? And he was casting out a demon, and it was dumb. And it came to be, when the demon had gone out, that the dumb spoke. And the crowds marveled. But some of them said, He casts out demons by Beelzebul, the ruler of the demons. And others, trying him, were seeking from him a sign from heaven. And he, knowing their thoughts, said to them, Every reign divided against itself is laid waste, and a house divided against a house falls. So if Shatan also is divided against himself, how shall his reign stand? Because you say, I cast out demons by Beelzebul. Now if I cast out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your sons cast them out? Because of this they shall be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the finger of Elohim, then the reign of Yahuwah has come upon you. When a strong man, having been well armed, watches over his own court, his possessions are in peace. But when a stronger than he comes upon him and overpowers him, he takes from him all his armor in which he trusted, and divides his booty. He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. When the unclean ruach goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, seeking rest. And finding none, he says, I shall return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it swept and decorated. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other ruachs more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last status of that man becomes worse than the first. And it came to be, as he was saying this, a certain Asha from the masses raised her voice and said to him, Blessed is the womb that bore you, and the breasts which you sucked. But he said, Blessed rather are those hearing the word of Elohim and watching over it. And while the multitudes were gathering, he began to say, This generation is wicked. It seeks a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of Yonah the prophet. For as Yonah became a sign to the Nineviim, so also the son of Adam shall be to his this generation. The Empress of the South shall rise up in the judgment with the men of this generation and shall condemn them, for she came from the ends of the Arets to hear the wisdom of Shalomo. And look, a greater than Shalomo is here. The men of Nineveh shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Yonah. And look, a greater than Yonah is here. And no one, when he has lit a lamp, puts it in a hidden place or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in shall see the light. The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, all your body also is enlightened. But when your eye is evil, your body also is darkened. See to it, therefore, that the light which is in you is not darkness. If then all your body is enlightened, having no part dark, all shall be enlightened, as when the bright shining of a lamp gives you light. And as he spoke, a certain Pharisee asked him to dine with him. So he went in and sat down to eat. And when the Pharisee saw it, he marveled that he did not first wash before dinner. And Adoni said to him, Now you Pharisees make the outside of the cup and dish clean, but your inward part is filled with greed and wickedness. Thoughtless ones, did not he who made the outside make the inside also? But giving kindness of that which is within, and see, all are clean to you. But woe to you Pharisees, because you tithe the mint and the rye and every plant, and pass by the lawfulness and the love of Elohim. These you should have done without leaving the others undone. Woe to you Pharisees, because you love the best seats in the assemblies, and the greetings in the marketplaces. Woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you are like the unseen tombs, and the men walking over them do not know. And one of those learned in the Torah answering said to him, Teacher, when you say this, you insult us too. And he said, Woe to you also, you learned in the Torah, because you load men with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. Woe to you, because you build the tombs of the prophets, and your fathers kill them. So you bear witness that you approve of the works of your fathers, because they indeed kill them, and you build their tombs. And because of this the wisdom of Elohim said, I shall send them prophets and emissaries, and some of them they shall kill and persecute, so that the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world shall be required of this generation, from the blood of Abel to the blood of Zachariah, who perished between the altar and the Mishkan. Ye, I say to you, shall be required of this generation. Woe to you learned in the Torah, because you took away the key of knowledge. You did not enter in yourselves, and those who were entering in you hindered. And as he was saying this to them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to oppose him fiercely, and to draw him out on many subjects, watching him, and seeking to catch him in whatever he says, so as to accuse him. Chapter 12. Meanwhile, when an innumerable multitude of people had gathered together, so that they trampled one another, he began to say to his pupils first, Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. And whatever is concealed shall be revealed, and whatever is hidden shall be known. So whatever you have said in the dark shall be heard in the light, and what you have spoken in the ear in inner rooms shall be proclaimed on the housetops. But I say to you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body and after that are unable to do any more. But I shall show you whom you should fear. Fear the one who, after killing, possesses authority to cast into Gehenna. Ye, I say to you, fear him. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 copper coins? And not one of them is forgotten before Elohim. But even the hairs of your head have all been numbered. Do not fear, you are worth more than many sparrows. And I say to you, everyone who admits me before men, the son of Adam, shall also admit him before the messengers of Elohim. But he that has denied me before men shall be denied before the messengers of Elohim. And everyone who shall speak a word against the son of Adam, it shall be forgiven him. But to him who has blasphemed against the Ruach HaKodesh, it shall not be forgiven. And when they bring you to the assemblies and rulers and authorities, Do not worry about how or what you should answer or what you should say, for the Ruach HaKodesh shall teach you in that very hour what you should say. And someone from the crowds said to him, Teacher, speak to my brother to divide the inheritance with me. But he said to him, Man, who made me a judge or divider over you? And he said to them, Mind and beware of greed, because one's life does not consist in the excess of his possessions. He then spoke a parable to them, saying, The land of a certain rich man yielded well, and he was reasoning within himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room to store my crops? And he said, I am going to do this, pull down my storehouses and build greater, and store all my crops and my goods there. Then say to myself, Life, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, rejoice. But Elohim said to him, You mindless one, this Laila your life shall be demanded from you, and you shall own what you have prepared. So is he who is storing up treasure for himself, and is not rich toward Elohim. And he said this, and he said to his Talmidim, For this reason I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat, nor about the body, what you shall put on. The life is more than the food, and the body is more than the clothing. Look at the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which have neither storehouse nor granary, and Elohim feeds them. How much more valuable are you than the birds? And which of you by worrying is able to add 1 cubit to his lifespan? If then you are unable to do the least, why do you worry about the rest? Look at the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, and I say to you, even Shalomo in all his esteem was not dressed like one of these. And if Elohim so clothes the grass, which today exists in the field, and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more you of little belief? And do not seek what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, and do not keep worrying, for the goyim of the world seek all these, and your Father knows that you need these. But seek the reign of Yahuwah, and all these shall be added to you. Do not fear, little flock, because your Father did delight to give you the rain. Sell your possessions and give in kindness. Make yourselves purses which do not grow old, a treasure in Shamayim that does not fail, where no thief comes near, nor moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also. Let your loins be girded and your lamps burning, and be like men waiting for their Adoni, when he shall return from the wedding, that when he comes and knocks, they open to him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Adoni, when he comes, shall find watching. Truly I say to you that he shall gird himself and make them sit down to eat, and shall come and serve them. And if he comes in the second watch, or in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. And know this, that if Adoni of the house had known what hour the thief comes, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. And you then be ready, for the son of Adam is coming at an hour you do not expect. And Kepha said to him, Adoni, do you speak this parable to us, or also to all? And Adoni said, Who then is the trustworthy and wise manager, whom his Adoni shall appoint over his household, to give the portion of food in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Adoni shall find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he shall appoint him over all his possessions. But if that servant says in his heart, My Adoni is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male servants and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, Adoni of that servant shall come on a yom when he does not expect him, and at an hour that he does not know, and shall cut him in two, and appoint his portion with the unbelievers. And that servant who knew his Adoni's desire, and did not prepare, nor did according to his desire, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he who did not know, yet did what deserved flogging, shall be beaten with few. And everyone to whom much is given, from him much shall be demanded. And to whom much has been entrusted, from him much more shall be asked. I came to send fire on the Arets, and how I wish it were already kindled. But I have an immersion to be immersed with, and how distressed I am until it is accomplished. Do you think that I came to give peace on Arets? I say to you, no, but rather division. For from now on 5 in one house shall be divided, three against two, and two against three. Father shall be divided against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And he also said to the crowds, when you see a cloud rising out of the west, immediately you say, a storm is coming, and so it is. And when you see the south wind blow, you say, there shall be hot weather, and it is. Hypocrites, you know to discern the face of the sky and the earth, but how is it you do not discern this time? And why also do you not judge for yourselves what is right? For as you go with your opponent to a ruler, try hard along the way to settle with him, lest he drag you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the officer, and the officer throw you into prison. I say to you, you shall certainly not leave there until you have paid even the last mite. Chapter 13. And some were present at that time, reporting to him about the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mixed with their offerings. And Yah-ooh-sha answering said to them, do you think that these Galileans were worse sinners than all Galileans, because they have suffered like this? I say to you, no, but unless you repent, you shall all perish in the same way. Or those 18 on whom the tower in Shiloah fell and killed them, do you think that they were greater offenders than all other men who dwelt in Jerusalem? I say to you, no, but unless you repent, you shall all perish in the same way. And he spoke this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found nothing. And he said to the gardener, look, for 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down, what does it even make the ground useless? And he answering said to him, Adoni, leave it this year too, until I dig around it and throw manure. And if indeed it bears fruit, good, but if not so, you shall cut it down. And he was teaching in one of the assemblies on the Shabbat. And see, there was an Asha having a weakening ruach for 18 years, and was bent over and was unable to straighten up at all. And Yah-ooh-sha, seeing her, called her near and said to her, Asha, you loosened from your weakness. And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was straightened up and praised Allah him. But the ruler of the assembly, responding, much displeased that Yah-ooh-sha had healed on the Shabbat, said to the crowds, there are 6 yomim on which men should work, so come and be healed on them, and not on the Shabbat yom. Then Adoni answered him and said, hypocrite, does not each one of you on the Shabbat loosen his ox or his donkey from the stall, and lead it away to water it? And this one being a daughter of Abraham, whom Shatan has bound, look, for 18 years, should she not be loosened from this bond on the Shabbat? And when he said this, all his opponents were put to shame, and all the crowds rejoiced for all the splendid works being done by him. Therefore he said, what is the reign of Elohim like, and to what shall I compare it? It is like a mustard seed, which a man took and threw into his garden, and it grew and became a large tree, and the birds of the skies nested in its branches. And again he said, to what shall I compare the reign of Yahuwah? It is like leaven, which Anasha took and hid in 3 measures of flour until it was all leavened. And he was going through the cities and villages, teaching and traveling toward Jerusalem. And someone said to him, Adoni, are there a few who are being delivered? And he said to them, strive to enter through the narrow gate, because many, I say to you, shall seek to enter in, and shall not be able. When once Adoni of the house has risen up and shut the door, and you begin to stand outside and knock at the door, saying, Adoni, Adoni, open for us. And he shall answer and say to you, I do not know you, where you are from. Then you shall begin to say, we ate and drank in your presence, and you taught in our streets. But he shall say, I say to you, I do not know you, where you are from. Depart from me, all you workers of disobedience. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, when you see Abraham and Yitzhak, and Jacob and all the prophets in the reign of Yahuwah, and yourselves thrown outside. And they shall come from the east and the west, and from the north and the south, and sit down in the reign of Yahuwah. And see, there are last who shall be first, and there are first who shall be last. On the same Yom, there came certain Pharisees, saying to him, Get out and go from here, for Herod wishes to kill you. And he said to them, Go, say to that fox, See, I cast out demons and perform healings today and tomorrow, and the third Yom I shall be perfected. But I have to journey today and tomorrow and the Yom following, because it is not fitting for a prophet to perish outside of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, killing the prophets and stoning those who are sent to her. How often I wish to gather your children together, the way a hen gathers her chickens under her wings. Chickens under her wings. But you would not. See, your house is left to you laid waste. And truly I say to you, you shall by no means see me until the time comes when you say, Blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Thank you very much. Namaste. I'm gonna do ASMR and hopefully in half an hour. In King Yah-usha's name, God bless you all. Amen. Namaste.